Hello and welcome to another jungle video, and in this one we are going to be having a look at what's stopping you from becoming a better jungler, from becoming the best, from becoming an absolute challenger level Chad. And the reason this video is being made is because, honestly, junglers, I'm a little upset. Because I've been observing a lot of junglers, having a look at some people's games and seeing what they do in relation to lane states, how they interact with lanes, and where junglers usually make complaints. I get it, the lane is in, they don't rotate, they make mistakes, they feed. But honestly, a lot of junglers are not exactly doing much better even though they think they are. We are going to look at 9 things you need to do in order to become a better jungler, and sending your LP to the moon just like Wall Street bets. So if you enjoy this content, please do leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well as the gameplay channel, and maybe join me on Planet 9 where I am hosting some coaching classes just to help you improve as well. So without further hesitation, let us begin. Right, first up we have to talk about this, your early game plan. Did you make one? And do you understand the difference between theory and reality? Because I know sometimes you want to do this clear, you want to invade, you want to gank, but a laner dies and then you don't have prio, so you have to give up the crab, it ruins your entire game plan and now you're upset. However, most junglers operate like the Von Schlieffen plan from World War I. There's only one outcome and you're gonna do it no matter what, which means you die, you feed, and you lose the game. Look at this Kha'Zix. I was actually live spectating my friend in this game, he was playing lane. The Kha'Zix says, I'm screwed against the Mundo. I'm confused, I don't know why. Tell him to say in chat, just 3 camp and invade the Mundo. Kha'Zix says, alright, I'm gonna try. And then you look up, we fast forward, he does exactly that. Except, you'll notice he was level 2 on the beginning of the invade. He did red, wolves, blue into the invade instead of getting a 3 camp with the Gromp to get level 3. He did not have any sort of game plan or understanding of how to abuse the enemy jungler, how he wanted to play the first 5 minutes, and it would have cost him had no one said anything. And as I said, maybe you are Vi and you have this idea, I'm gonna 4-5 camp, gonna look to gank top lane, gonna look to gank mid lane. I definitely want that top crab, but you're not considering what the enemy jungler wants to do. And then, when everything collapses down on you, you don't give up. Why? Why are we sticking around on this top crab? Why are you trying to fight this with no prio and then burning your flash for no reason? I understand the reality of the situation upsets you, but for most of us in the real world, we're kinda used to that by now. Adapt to what is and maybe go and secure the other crab, maybe change your jungle route early, maybe slap down some wards and so on. I have a full video on early game jungling, I'm not going to repeat everything here, I'm just saying understand that theory and reality are not the same thing. And because everyone needs some laughs and apparently I like pain, I decided to watch another game. And this time the jungler said, look, they picked Kha'Zix, I main Hecarim, he was banned, I'm gonna pick first time Rek'Sai. Listen, you can watch the clear, look at this. Red, Raptors, Wolves, Blue, Gromp. That is not a good Rek'Sai clear, no. You can do a full red side into a gank, early pressure, especially before the Kha'Zix, who usually likes to do a 5 camp, although he can do any kind of clear he wants. Or for Rek'Sai, you can go from buff Gromp into impact as well. The point is, you want to get on the map before the Kha'Zix, but because our Rek'Sai does random Hecarim things, Kha'Zix makes the better impact early and gets the gank off, and later on the Rek'Sai is just floating around without any real purpose, doing camps while the Kha'Zix is ganking, as you see here again. And then contesting the crab when you don't have bot prio because the Kha'Zix created that prio by ganking bottom lane, the Annie comes in and says, listen, I'm gonna help you leave. Rek'Sai says, no, I wanna stay. And then he dies, and dies to the Katarina. Please have your champ pool ready, and if you don't know what you're gonna play, dodge the game, but really, just watch a video on champ pools and have one. I mean, it's not difficult to have 3 junglers you can play. Right, the second thing here is gank timing relevant to laner cadence. Now that's a very weird way of saying, can you just pay attention to lanes? Can you use your F keys? Because junglers are not doing it. You can laugh, you see what's happening, there's an Aphelios over pushing, everyone's walking over wards, no one notices, and the Hecarim still ends up getting kills. So I understand, the laners also make these mistakes. However, junglers are not exactly helping their laners by ganking at the wrong times or missing the most opportune moments to get themselves a lead, as well as get their laners ahead, which of course we translate into objectives. Use this Ivan, uses very weird pathing but nonetheless gets level 4 on the top side crab. Immediately you notice that the Udyr is ganking bottom lane. This is normal. A jungler such as this can get level 4 and gank bottom lane while they're still level 2. This is a huge experience advantage that can always be used to their, advantage. But Ivan's team withstood the pressure, helped, and no one died. All sums were burned, including from the blue team's bottom lane. And all I see from Ivan is wishy-washy weird pathing. Instead of going straight from top crab all the way down directly, and you can save the day and you can get a huge lead for your bottom lane. Nonetheless, it's not the end of the world. You can maybe go back to base and repeat gank because your bottom lane, heroically, has got a really nice turbo freeze and a huge resource advantage. This forces the blue team's bottom lane to have to go back before they wanted to. This means instead of dying randomly in the mid lane, I don't know why, you could go back to base, sequence Raptors, Wolves, Gromp, and tie him beautifully for when the blue team's bottom lane returns and then you squash them. But because he died, it's okay, he still has time. Do the Wolves, do the Gromp. Never mind, he's going the other direction. Imagine if the blue team is forced to go back after a gank they received because the red team was freezing. They return to lane only to get spanked by a big piece of wood, and now they're 2 levels down, lose a plating, and the lane is over. What's that? It's warded because, you know, the Udyr was there? Don't worry, you can always lane gank. Or how about at the beginning of the game, you put that ward, you go back, you get your scanner and the level 1 clear, and when you rotate to the first gank, we can scan it, remove the ward, and now the secondary follow-up gank is absolutely pure gold. That's not that complicated, all it took was paying attention to the lane and understanding what lane is what. But instead of that, the Udyr ganks first and sad things happen. This translates to the use of your ultimates because we always say for farming junglers, as we just mentioned in the farming junglers video, you must play around those ultimates because if you don't have the same kind of impact early, which everyone expects, at the very least when you have the ultimate you can use it for a guaranteed burn that gets kills, objectives, or maybe more. But as you're seeing from these Sejuani highlights, they don't do any good if you miss all your spells and mistime your ultimates. You must hit them and they must be meaningful. Secondly, watch this Nocturne. He hasn't had the best game so far, but he's gonna do his Krugs and then ult. Pause. Is this a good time to ult his Nocturne? Yes or nein? Now the only information you have as you watch the gank fail miserably is that the enemy bottom lane was pushed, they were low, they had some sums, and your bottom lane wasn't in position. So even from that alone, you should say this is a bad use of your first ultimate. It's absolutely drastically compounded by the fact that the Viego twice ganked bottom lane and burned your bottom laner's sums. This means because there's a huge wave crashing on the tower and they cannot get any closer, you're going to be so detached from them that it will always be wasted. The burn of the flash is nice, but if you timed that ultimate in a better way and synced it up with your bottom lane returning, maybe when they had sums or also hit 6, you'd be looking at a guaranteed kill. As a final note on this, please don't ping that you're on your way and that your ult's up. Your laner might think, alright, I'm gonna bait it out, let's go. And then you've gone the other direction. Very bad practice, don't do it. Fourth on this list, lane priority is not a right. Understand it and respect it. I understand we want it, and I understand everyone that watches Tarzan thinks that lane priority is always there. And as I said in the first point, please understand the state of the game, take what the map offers and don't be greedy. Even if you get out of situations like this Nocturne here, why did he go into the dragon pit when you had no lane prior and the enemy jungler just took the dragon? Use the Sejuani again, why are you fighting the enemy Leona when your mid lane is in base and the enemy Yone is fed? Even if you have laner support, you don't win 3v3, which means you should just give it up and back out. Now you feed them more and make the game state harder. This fifth point is a very short point, except you're gonna watch footage of a speedrun Fiddlesticks having 000 KP within the first 12 minutes. I understand, you're a farming jungler, you have to farm. We all get it. It's honest work, but it is not AFK work. Watch the last video on farming junglers about how to find your impact when you have to scale as well. In essence, this is about being too passive. You have to focus and understand that the early game is important still. Getting leads are good for your team's mentality, they're good for your ability to scale faster. And if you are constantly having good farming numbers, but low kill participation, low kills, low deaths, and low assists, you're being way too passive and you're not allowing your team the ability to actually play around you. And on the other side of that coin is playing too aggressively. Don't do anything blindly without a reason. Always ask yourself why we do something. Do I pick a fight because they just use their main abilities on minions? Do I pick a fight because, you know, maybe they have no flashes and we have the timer? Do I pick a fight because maybe they have 1 top, 1 bot, and 3 mid and we can just dive this 4v3? Get a tower and a dragon? All of these are good questions with good answers. But if you're too passive, you're not looking for them. And if you're too aggressive like the Sejuani is showing you, you are just running into fights, forcing action with no results, with no rewards at the end of it. Your team cannot follow, they get zoned by the rest of the enemy team, and you end up throwing leads that you really shouldn't be throwing. And all of this boils down to reading and reacting to the game. I've mentioned this a few times with subtle hints in this video. When something happens, what are you doing about it that could give you something in return or counteract what exactly is happening? They're doing a dragon, you can do a herald. Udyr ganks bottom lane, you can rotate and get a triple kill, or you can counter jungle. Maybe we can dive top lane. If there's a dragon up, if there's a Lee Sin fighting your team, don't go and do the Gromp. Don't go and roll around your snowball thinking things will just fall into place for you. You have to understand there's a time to farm a grump and it's not when everyone else is fighting. And when you lose games in this elo, in low elo, when you're in diamond, because you are not there as a supportive jungler, the impact of you not being there to engage, peel, and disrupt is felt even more so. Next up, I have to point this out. Stop thinking that fundamentals are not enough to get you out of low elo, that are not enough to get you out of gold and platinum, that are not enough to help you get out of diamond to master. That's the whole point of this video. They lay the foundation of your house. If you've got strong foundations and you adhere to good principles of the game, good strategies, and the basics, simply ganking a few times early, farming well, getting a few dragons, and having more golds and items at crucial mid-game fights is usually more than enough to actually win games. And it doesn't always have to be pretty and flashy. You can exert map control with good principles, with good foundations, and any sort of extra fight you need to rotate to, any sort of fiesta that you have, that is on top of what you are already doing well. This means sometimes you just have a donut with frosting. I like it, it tastes good. Sometimes you want jam inside plus some sprinkles on top, and you will get that, and you will thrive, and you will do very well, and you will climb. But at the end of the day, it's still a donut. And for the final thing in this video, please stop having this giving up / mental attitude that you are the greatest ego ever seen since Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where you needed your whole planet. This ego increases the higher rank people get, but it really peaks in Platinum where everyone must always be the carry, and if they aren't the carry or things go wrong, it's never their fault. And don't worry, the egos continue the higher people go up on the ladder, except eventually they kinda get deserved because they're challenger. Remember, no matter what your rank, the enemy team is the same skill level as you. If you have a chance to throw the game, they have the chance to throw the game. If you have someone baby raging for no reason, they might have the same exact thing. If one of their teammates are inting like you've never seen before, then maybe one of yours is as well. This happens. But the chances for you to win the game, to get leads, to actually circumnavigate their inting is always there. You just have to have the right champion, playstyle, and foundations ready to take over and be that 1v9, 2v8, or what have you carry. But sometimes you just lose games, and I was gonna yell it for the memes, but it's kinda late where I'm recording. And that means don't hold on for dear hope when the game is over. If you're like 40 kills to 3, move on, go next. But if you're only down a dragon or 2 and a few thousand gold and you scale, relax, keep your head about you, grab those wins, start thinking about the laners and your jungler's relation to it more so than just what the enemy jungler is doing. Expand your mind, elevate your brain, and then rocket to the moon with your LP, or maybe even Mars if you keep your wits about you. Right, a little bit ranty, a little bit more telling junglers off, but these are good things that you must adhere to in your games if you want to climb. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. And if you find this channel as well as the gameplay channel worthy of your support like Thor's Hammer, please consider leaving a subscription. Braid your beards, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.